Hi all, and welcome back to another video lecture of economics. I'm Ms. Sayyeda Tijani, and today we are going to do something little but something very important and interesting of chapter number 3A. Alright, in our previous video class we had studied what is the law of demand. Simple recap: law of demand given by Professor Alfred Marshall in his book Principles of Economics in 1890. Alright, now Professor Alfred Marshall says that when price increases, the demand falls, and when price falls, the demand increases. As we have completed in our previous class, this behavior is known as the inverse relationship, because both the arrows are moving in the opposite direction. When one rises, the other falls. When one falls, the other rises. So this was the law of demand. But there are certain commodities for which the law of demand doesn't hold true. Those commodities are listed in your textbook as exceptions of the law of demand. Certain situations or certain things are such which do not consider the law of demand as true. The law of demand doesn't hold true in certain situations, and those situations are the exceptions of law of demand. This particular question can be asked to you in agree disagree. State whether the following statement is, whether you agree or you disagree with the following statement. There are no exceptions to the law of demand. So you are going to write no, I do not agree, because there are a list of exceptions of law of demand, and you're going to explain these points. Or it can be asked as a question clubbed with the law of demand. They might ask you for 8 marks. They might ask you a lengthy question: state and explain the law of demand along with its exceptions. So again, you are going to write the law of demand and explain these points. Okay, so it can come for 4 marks, it can come with another question for 8 marks, or it can come for short note also for 3 marks. So let us begin. There are certain things which Alfred Marshall says that the law of demand is not fitting in those things. And what are they? The first one, Griffin's paradox. A very important point. It can be asked to you as define for 2 marks or short note for 3 marks. They might ask you define Griffin's paradox or write a short note on Griffin's paradox. What is Griffin's paradox? First of all, understand there is something known as inferior goods in economics. Alright, inferior goods. What are these inferior goods? Very simple: the goods which are really very cheap. Okay, usually it is consumed and purchased by the low income groups. Alright, things that are really very easily available, very affordable, and it is really very cheap. They are known as inferior goods in economics. Now, inferior goods, one example that is given in your textbook is a comparison between an inferior good, that is bread, and a better quality good, that is meat, the mutton. Okay, this Griffin's paradox is named as Griffin's paradox because it was studied and analyzed by economics, an English economist. Yes, it's given in the textbook on page number 23. Alright, this economist was Sir Robert Giffin from England. He studied that certain things are not fitting into law of demand, and he conducted a survey and he found out that certain inferior goods are not fitting into law of demand. When he says that, it means that the law of demand, which says price rises, demand falls, price falls, demand rises, it is not applicable to inferior goods, which means that when the price of inferior goods are rising, their demand will also rise, or it will be as it is. Or when the price is falling, the demand will also fall, or it will remain as it is. Here we had seen that there is an inverse relationship between price and demand, but in exceptions there is a direct relationship between price and demand. Why? Because these are the exceptions of law of demand, which are not exhibiting this behavior, they are exhibiting this behavior. Now, as we all know that bread is something that is very cheap when compared with chicken, mutton or fish. Alright, meat is way expensive, and meat, like for example fish, it is considered as the food of the rich, because at least in our locality, at least in our area where we live, fish is really very expensive. When you compare bread and when you compare fish, obviously fish is more expensive, and the people who are poor, the low income groups, they would not really buy fish because they cannot afford it. Now Sir Robert Giffin is trying to say that if the price of bread is rupees 10, alright, the price of bread is rupees 10, and on the other hand the price of meat is rupees 500, alright, per kg. Okay, bread is really very cheap, meat is really very expensive, but both are used for satisfying your hunger. So a poor person will always prefer bread because he cannot afford meat. Now, if for example the price of bread is increasing, for example it has become now 20 rupees, it is still cheaper than the meat, right? Meat is still 500 rupees, and this bread, even after becoming expensive, even after price rise, it is still cheaper than meat. So obviously, even if the price has risen, it will have no change in demand, because poor is still considering it as an inferior good, as a good which he can afford, and that is why he will still not afford meat. He will not purchase meat. He will remain with his preference, that is bread. Again, let us for example take if it rises to 30, still the price of meat is higher than the price of bread, because bread is an inferior good. It can never compare or compete with the price of meat. Always the poor is going to prefer the cheaper substitute, wherein he can satisfy his hunger, because he cannot afford something very expensive. So Sir Robert Giffin says that although the price of bread is rising, it will not have any change in its demand, or the demand is not going to fall, because it is still cheaper than the expensive or the higher quality substitute good, that is meat. So I hope this first point is clear to you. Giffin's good, or Giffin's paradox, is where there is an opposite behavior of law of demand. Law of demand says this, there is an inverse relationship, but Giffin's paradox believes in this, that there is a direct relationship. Why? Because bread is still cheaper than meat when it is compared. So that is Giffin's paradox. Next point you have in your textbook is prestige goods. Prestige goods are those goods which are showing your standard of living to the society. Like for example, expensive diamond ring, branded clothes, alright, branded cars. All these products are those which are showing your standard of living, showing your status to the society. Okay, so if I constantly feel that I want to show off in the society, I constantly feel that people must have a look at my diamond ring, or people must have a look at my expensive dress, or everyone should have an eye on my expensive car. If I constantly have that feeling of show off, then obviously even if the price rises, I'm not going to curb my demand, because it is showing my standard of living. Because I'm rich, because I can afford, I'm not going to stop buying it. Even if like for example a diamond ring which is costing nearly a lakh of rupee, if it becomes 1,20,000, I will not stop buying it, because I have money and I want to show to the world that I am rich. My diamond ring is going to show the status. It is a symbol of respect. It is a symbol of prestige for me, and that is why even if the ring becomes expensive, I'm not going to stop buying it. Alright, next one, speculations. We had done it in our previous class also. Speculation, when we did determinants of demand, that time we had done something known as expectations or expecting from future. So speculations, we sometimes speculate that the price of a certain commodity is going to rise. All right, so what we do, even if at present the price is rising, we will still buy it now. A very simple example that is given in the textbook is about your Diwali crackers and Diwali sweets. Okay, as in when the festival of Diwali, the festival of light, when it is coming closer, the things, the oil, the prices of oil, the sweeteners, the crackers, slowly the price start rising. When people like us, they sit and realize, okay, now this, because Diwali is nearing, because Diwali is approaching, the prices of the commodities are rising. So let me buy it now instead of buying at a higher price later. So for example, the price of sugar was 60 rupees. Okay, let us take for example the price of sugar was 60 rupees in normal days, but slowly there was just a month left for Diwali and it became 65 rupees. Then 15 days for Diwali, it became 70 rupees. Now you will realize, before it reaches 90 rupees, let me buy now, because if it rises further, it will become very expensive. So here you will see the behavior that price is rising, but due to future fear, because you are speculating it might rise even more, you are going to buy at the rising price only. So this is also one of the exceptions where the law of demand doesn't hold true. Alright, next one, price illusions. Price illusions are just like the law of demand is a human behavior. Price illusion is also a human behavior. It's also into human psychology. Very simple. If you feel that certain thing is expensive, you will automatically start believing that it is good quality. And if you feel, if you see something that is really very cheap, something that is offered at a sale price to you, you will feel that okay, maybe this is defected and that is why I'm getting it at a cheaper rate. Very simple. We often see 80% off on websites. Okay, as of now nobody is going off for shopping to malls and all, so we often see various websites where we see that there is 60% off, 70% off, 80% off. Sometimes we often wonder, maybe it is an old stock, maybe it is something that is defective, you never know. So it is an illusion in our mind that if the thing is expensive, it is going to be of good quality, and if the thing is cheap, it is going to be of bad quality. So if you really feel that the price is high and you want something that is of a high quality, you're going to buy at a higher price. So that becomes the exception of law of demand. Next one is habitual goods. Certain goods are such which we are addicted to, and they are habitual goods. You cannot leave that habit. Like very simple example, cigarettes for the smokers. Alright, even if the government levies a lot of tax on cigarettes, even if the cigarettes become very expensive, the smokers will not stop buying it. They will take loan, they will take money from someone else, they will borrow money, they will beg, borrow, steal, whatever, but they are still going to buy the cigarettes. Why? Because it's their habit. It's very difficult to leave the habit. It's their addiction. So even if the price of habitual goods are rising, it will have no change in the demand. The demand will not fall because it is their habit. It is a human tendency, it is a human behavior, and to keep up the habit, to keep up the addiction, they are going to still buy it at a higher price. Last one is your ignorance. Very simple. Sometimes we end up buying an expensive thing from a store which we would have got at a cheaper price. Okay, very simple. You have a website comparing apps these days. Okay, how much if one particular thing is available to you on some site at 100 rupees, you will immediately check another site, and if it is available at a cheaper rate, you will order from the other site. if it is available for 90, you will buy it from there. But in case if you are not aware of different sites to compare, so you will end up buying the expensive one. So not only on online markets or online shopping, even in real world, if you see, even in pre-COVID, if you go to see, there are various markets, and people usually prefer those markets where the goods are cheaper. All right, you have wholesale markets. Best example that I can give you is of Crawford Market. Whatever we get in the stores, it is high priced, but when we go to Crawford Market, the same goods we get at a cheaper rate. The quality is the same, just because it is a wholesale market, we get it at a cheaper rate. So but some may not be aware of something that is known as Crawford Market, so they will end up buying expensive good. All right, so these were the exceptions of law of demand. I hope you have understood. If yes, then please do give a like, please do subscribe to the channel, and please be free to drop a comment, because your comments are like it's giving us motivation in this times of COVID and the virus and everything else. Your comments are giving us hope that something, the teaching is still going on and it should go on. So please do like, subscribe, and be free to give your feedback so that we can improve. Thank you so much. See you next time.